Well, you can chalk this movie up to biggest surprises of the year. I mean, wow. What is up, everyone, and welcome to Men vs. Movies. I'm Griffin, as always, and today I'm bringing you yet another early review. Yes, I got a chance to see Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle early last night, and I'm here to give you my thoughts on it. So Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle is directed by Jake Kasdan and is starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Jack Black, Kevin Hart, Karen Gillan, and Nick Jonas. And the movie follows these four high school kids who are very different. One's a jock, one's a pretty popular girl, and then there's two nerdy and intellectual kids. And they all find themselves together in detention, and when they stumble upon a video game called Jumanji, they get sucked into the game and must complete the game in order to be freed from the game. But there's a kicker here. They only have 3 lives, so if they die 3 times, they die in the game. So when I heard they were originally making a Jumanji sequel or another Jumanji film, the first thing that popped in my head was, why? We don't need that. We have a great one with Robin Williams. It's a lot of fun. It's a great family adventure film from the 90s that I'm sure many of us grew up loving quite a bit. And then I see the trailers for this and I'm thinking, all right, this isn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I can see it going 2 ways here. I can see it being really, really bad, or at best, okay and disposable enjoyment. And walking out of Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle, I have to say, this is probably one of the biggest surprises of the year. What a blast. This film was a lot of fun from start to finish. And the best thing I could say is that this is probably one of the best family adventure films I've seen in like the past decade. There really haven't been too many of these kinds of films, but I had no idea it was going to be as good as it was. So let's dive into this thing talking with the positives. The biggest positive for me, at least, was the cast and the chemistry between all of the actors. So the movie starts out with the 4 kids in high school, and then very quickly they get swept up into the video game, and we get introduced to our main players, The Rock, Kevin Hart, Karen Gillan, and Jack Black. And I have to say that just across the board, they were all fantastic. Jack Black is hysterical. I can't believe I'm saying this, but he gave us something that I never thought I would want to see, and that is Jack Black essentially playing a high school girl, and it is so funny. He has some of the best lines in the entire movie. The Rock, of course, Mr. Charisma, he's great as always. There's this running joke throughout the film. It is just so Rock, and the way he goes about doing the joke has you laughing every single time. It was a brilliant use of a reoccurring joke. Kevin Hart, I have to say, I quite enjoyed in this movie. Usually I find him either really funny or funny but kind of annoying. In this one, he had a lot going on here that was different from what he usually does. Yeah, he has his Kevin Hart yelling shtick, but his chemistry with The Rock, obviously they work together, so their chemistry is really good, but it also translated over into this film quite well. He has some fantastic moments, some very funny moments. And the last performance I really want to touch on is Karen Gillan. I thought that she was fantastic. It's nice to see her without blue prosthetics on. She has some great scenes. Everyone really has a moment to shine on their own, but she has several which are just brilliantly done. Something that I can say for the characters on the whole is that each kid that is being portrayed by the bigger movie stars, I think, goes through quite a bit of transforming while in the game, and it makes for some very compelling character arcs, which was a big surprise for me. The next positive I have with this movie is really just the way they went about doing a Jumanji sequel. For doing a sequel to a movie that really didn't need a sequel, they did it the right way. They made it different enough and made it so that it's able to stand on its own. And the idea of them going into a video game and completing this Indiana Jones kind of quest was pretty original for the concept of a Jumanji sequel. And the best part is they also poke fun at video game culture and some of the tropes that you might find in these more team-based games where every person has a role that they must be doing in the game. And the way they poke fun at those tropes, I think, is pretty witty. And the next thing I loved about the way they tackled the Jumanji sequel was that they actually had the kids go into the game. It's not like the game came to them. No, they had to go to the game. So it was a nice little change there where you saw the island of Jumanji. You saw some of the stuff that they had to do, and the stakes felt greater in a way. And the last thing I liked about the way they tackled the Jumanji sequel was how they made it relevant to today's culture. We're not playing as much board games as we used to. We're playing video games, and so they adapted that for this, and it was done in a way that wasn't, oh, look at me, we're trying to be relevant. No, it actually made sense for this generation, and yet it was something that everyone can enjoy. The next positive I got here is just the amount of fun that you have while watching this movie. Like I mentioned at the beginning, I had a blast watching this movie, and I think the best part is that it's geared towards families. There's a lot of stuff in there for adults that will go over the kids' heads and will make for some nice laughs for them, but then there's also just a lot of stuff in there for everyone, whether they're completing some of the tasks that they have to in the game, or there's some nice little family humor that's thrown in there. Everything about this is really kind of special, because like I said at the beginning of my review, I haven't seen a family adventure film like this that was actually very good since probably like the first night of the museum. It had the feel of those early 2000s family adventures, which were a lot of fun. What's better than going to the movies with your family and having a great time? That's what makes the movie so great. And so to see a movie like this that channels the feel of those early 2000s family adventure films, it makes for something special. And it also makes for something that, yeah, is a lot of fun, but at its core, there's quite a bit of heart involved. All right, now moving on to the negatives, and I really only have two negatives with the film. The first one is really just a casting choice. Nick Jonas plays a guy in this game, and I'm not gonna really touch on him too much because it could be spoilery, but I actually thought that he was kind of miscast. He wasn't awful in the movie, he was definitely serviceable, but I couldn't help but feel that if his character was played by Zac Efron, for instance, he would have been that much better, especially given his chemistry with The Rock on Baywatch. And, I mean, he's also a better actor than Nick Jonas, not to say that he's bad, but he definitely has that Disney Channel made-for-TV vibe to him. And I couldn't help but feel that if Zac Efron had been in the role, the character would have been that much better. And then my final negative has to do with the villain, I guess. Bobby Cannavale plays this villain kind of guy, and yeah, I don't really know what he was doing in there. The main antagonist is really supposed to be the island, and it throws all these formidable elements at our characters, and so having Bobby Cannavale be this figurehead of evil in the movie just didn't make sense. In the creative choices that they made with his character were so weird and kind of out of left field that I didn't think it worked. Really, the character on the whole didn't work at all. I can't say that it terribly hindered the movie. It was just really weird when they would cut back to him, almost like, hey, look, we have a villain, but we're really not going to explore him, but we have a villain. Just, you didn't need that. And that's really it, guys. Like I said, Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle is such a good time. The cast is fantastic. If nothing else, go see it for the cast alone. But I guarantee that you'll have a great time, especially come the holiday season and families looking for movies to go see. Maybe you've already seen Star Wars, so go check out this one. And honestly, I can say this is one of the biggest surprises of the year. I did not expect to love this movie as much as I did. And for all those reasons and the reasons I mentioned throughout my review, I'm ultimately going to be giving Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle Armored Up. Thanks, guys, for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed this review of Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle. If you've seen the film, let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. I know they had that Amazon Prime member screening, but if you haven't seen it, let me know if you're looking forward to it. And while you're down there, be sure to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more movie reviews, movie-related content, and all that good stuff. You can also like Men vs. Movies on Facebook and follow us on Twitter simply by searching Men v Movies. And lastly, guys, if you like me specifically and you like what I have to say, you can always give me a follow on Twitter at Griff Schiller. All right, that'll do it for this review, guys. And until next time, take care.